The overuse of antibiotics in livestock. As a cattle farmer, I am very interested in the debate regarding the use of antibiotics in livestock. According to an article in New York Times by Stephanie Strong, 2 of 18 antibiotic-resistant bacteria are linked to the use of antibiotics in animals. To prevent the development of drug-resistant bacteria, farmers need to limit the use of antibiotics in livestock. First, let's talk about what antibiotic resistance is. According to the Centers for Disease Control, antibiotic resistance is the ability of bacteria to resist the effects of an antibiotic. There are lots of germs, but only a few are drug resistant. When antibiotics are given, they kill the bacteria causing the illness, as well as the needed good bacteria which help the body fight off infection. These circumstances allow the drug-resistant bacteria to grow and take over, leading to superbugs that are difficult or impossible to treat. Now let's talk about why it is important when using antibiotics with livestock. In the past, antibiotics have been overused in livestock. The more frequently antibiotics are used in livestock, the more quickly bacteria can become resistant to them, resulting in the drug becoming ineffective. Antibiotics have been used routinely in animals to promote growth and prevent disease. Amanda Rodke states in her article that 80% of all antibiotics used in the United States are used in livestock. Now let's discuss why this is so important to people. According to an article by Jeffrey Mohan, the practice of routinely feeding antibiotics to farm-raised animals has led to resistant strands of bacteria that cause human illness, which increases annual death by 23,000 and boosts healthcare costs by $55 million. It is not difficult for these drug-resistant bacteria to spread from livestock to humans. People are exposed to the bacteria when handling or eating raw or undercooked meat. These bacteria are also found in animal stool, which contaminates drinking water or plants. Fertilizer or water, which contain the drug-resistant bacteria, are used on food crops consumed by people. Once passed on to the human, this drug-resistant bacteria can be passed from one human to another. According to Aaron Carroll, the pace of making new drugs is not keeping up with the demand necessary to treat new drug-resistant bacteria. Carroll noted that FDA approved 19 new antibiotics from 1980 to 1984, but only 13 were approved from 2000 to 2014. Next, let's discuss what can be done to control this problem. Here are some ways that farmers and veterinarians can help combat the problem. Antibiotics must be used responsibly in livestock. A new federal regulation implemented by the FDA in January of this year requires a veterinarian's approval before using antibiotics and prohibits the use of antibiotics to promote growth in healthy animals. This regulation is one step in the right direction, but more needs to be done. Farmers should only use antibiotics in sick animals. Antibiotics that are used in humans should be used in livestock only when absolutely necessary. Farmers should add antibiotics to food or water for the purpose of treating large numbers of animals. What can the general public do? Buy brands of meat that support the initiative to stop the overuse of antibiotics. According to Jacob Burnage, Tyson has ended the use of antibiotics in chickens. Buy from restaurants like Chick-fil-A, Panera Bread, and Chipotle Mexican Grill that score better on the antibiotic scorecard, and stay away from restaurants like KFC and Little Caesars that score an F on the antibiotic scorecard created by Consumers Union and Natural Resources Defense Council. We should encourage new regulations to prevent loopholes in the current FDA regulation, which Tom Mearsman suggested allows farmers to continue using the antibiotics the same way at virtually the same dosage levels as they were being used for growth promotion. In conclusion, drug-resistant bacteria is a critical concern that needs to be addressed. To combat drug-resistant bacteria, antibiotics must be used appropriately. The development of the new antibiotics is not keeping pace with resistance. Farmers, veterinarians, and general public need to do what they can do to keep drug-resistant bacteria from happening. As consumers, we should encourage farmers to stay clear of antibiotics and by purchasing products from companies who support this initiative. Farmers should only use antibiotics in livestock to treat illness, and when antibiotics are necessary, they should be careful to choose antibiotics that are not used by humans when possible.